I think that you can't actually continue to do that without any gratitude. There was no gratitude. Meghan wouldn't be known for anything if she hadn't actually married Harry and been in the royal family. Well, I didn't believe it in the first place. I thought, why would he suddenly be all cosy and nice and want to come? And why on earth would Meghan speak to King Charles if she hates the monarchy so much?
Master plan to climb the royal ladder. Shocking new claims are rewriting everything we thought we knew, and the silence from Meghan's camp is only making it more suspicious. Stay tuned, because what we're about to uncover might change the way you see the Sussexes forever. When Meghan's new book hit the shelves, everyone was waiting for her to respond. We all know the drill. When the press prints something she doesn't like, her team is quick to step in with a statement, a legal threat, or a well-placed jab. But this time, nothing. Absolute silence. And that silence, it's only made the whispers louder. Critics have started to say it's a quiet admission, an unspoken acknowledgment of the claims made against her.
It makes good news. People want to read about it. So I think quite soon they'll get bored stiff. But there's something compelling about hearing all this nastiness. You just want to know, you want to hear about it. You can't believe it. You can't believe what he's saying. You can't believe the lies he's telling.
Meghan's loyal supporters, once quick to defend her, seem uncertain, caught off guard by her refusal to speak up. Instead of fighting back, she's chosen to stay silent, and that silence is saying more than words ever could. It's almost as if the absence of any response is a subtle confession. Could this be the moment when the carefully constructed narrative begins to crumble? And what does it mean for the Sussex brand that's built on authenticity if silence becomes their only defense? What if Meghan's relationship with Harry wasn't the love story we've been led to believe? What if, from the very start, Meghan wasn't just after Harry, but after the crown itself? Angela Levin's explosive claim suggests that Meghan may have had her sights set on William first, with Harry as the convenient second choice.
You sound like a troll. You sound like a social media troll. Everything you can point out that's incorrect.
Very rude. You don't call someone a troll with respect. That's without respect.
No, it is with respect.
Let me talk about something else. Abigail Spencer, who is also a friend of Meghan's, she has given the 6th jar of jam.
This revelation changes everything. If it's true, the entire narrative of Meghan as the outsider princess fighting for true love starts to unravel. Suddenly, the royal exit, the public battles, and the victim narrative take on a new light. Was Meghan playing a long game from the start, using the royal family as a stepping stone to get closer to power and prestige? If Harry was the backup plan, then everything he's done since, leaving the family, cutting ties, and trashing the monarchy in public, starts to look less like a courageous rebellion and more like the result of being manipulated. And that could shatter the very foundation of the Sussex brand. If Meghan was playing a game from the beginning, then the fallout is bigger than anyone could have predicted. Their entire public image, crafted around a love story that defied tradition, a couple choosing emotion over duty, now risks falling apart. Angela Levin's claims, if proven true, cut straight through the fairy tale facade.
And to, get rid of them so they could come and present a more woke, upward market couple.
The couple's entire brand hinges on the idea that Harry and Meghan chose love, not royal duty. Their Netflix deals, book contracts, and high-paying speaking gigs all ride on the premise of authenticity. But if their love story was never about love, and instead was a carefully calculated move to secure a position within the monarchy, that brand is built on a lie. This isn't just about the shock of the allegations. It's about the destruction of everything they've sold to the public. If Harry was the second choice all along, if Meghan's real intentions were always about climbing the royal ladder, then the entire narrative of the outsider princess challenging the system comes into question. And when the audience starts questioning the core of your story, that's when things begin to crumble.
jar of jam.
Who's hysterical about it? It's PR. She's trying to sell something. This is called advertising.
I know what PR is. Well, I am and I'm not, actually, why she didn't come over, because it's obviously stressful.
Yeah.
He's obviously unable to cope with questions, or he has not done his...
While Meghan and Harry have been turning their drama into global headlines, the royal family has remained eerily silent. And that silence, it's more powerful than any public statement could be. While Meghan's camp would normally be quick to respond, legal threats, media jabs, or an official denial, the royal family has taken a different route, complete and utter silence. At first, it might seem like weakness or avoidance, but there's a deeper strategy at play here. The palace is playing the long game, and its silence speaks volumes. They've watched as the Sussexes have stirred up the media, made shocking claims, and aired private grievances. But instead of fighting back with press releases or TV interviews, they've opted to stay dignified and above the fray. This calculated quietness suggests one thing: the royals aren't rattled. They've seen it all before. They know the drama will fade, and while Meghan and Harry continue to grab headlines, the palace remains above the noise. But behind the scenes, the royals are keeping track, and the message is clear. No matter how much they stir the pot, the monarchy remains untouchable, unfazed, and just waiting for the storm to pass.
People might be annoying if they can't get their jam one after the other. If they've got to wait, it's going to be terrible. So she wipes them out. This is what she was talking about to Tina Knowles, the mother of Beyonce. It was her last podcast. Well, last week was her last podcast, but this week she decided to run another one. So it's the last one, but plus one.
Okay.
And Tina gave her a real whopping, really. She kept telling her, well, it's not a good idea to let things run out. And what are you doing? Get on with it, girl. But Meghan then said, we don't know how many tears she's cried while she's got all this ready. It's been so difficult because she's done so much work. So it's a very extraordinary way of behaving and not doing anything for 6 months. Because she doesn't want to upset people.
From the start, Meghan's relationships have seemed more strategic than serendipitous. It's not that she's climbing the social ladder crudely or overtly. Still, everything about her past suggests a deliberate rhythm, an upward trajectory with each connection, each step, and each relationship. Whether it was her marriage to a successful Hollywood producer, her friendship with high-profile figures, or her romance with Harry, every move seemed calculated, like she was positioning herself for something bigger. And that's what makes people uneasy. It's not about the ambition itself, but how perfectly everything aligns. Every step forward looks meticulously planned, and in a world where authenticity is prized above all, that kind of precision can feel unsettling. Meghan's past relationships, even the ones that seemed innocent, now look like part of a grand strategy. A strategy that, if true, could mean that Harry was never the first choice, but rather the convenient second. This kind of calculated ambition isn't illegal, nor is it necessarily unethical. But in the public eye, it's something that makes us wonder how much of Meghan's charm, her warmth, her smile is real, and how much is just another piece of a well-executed plan.
Who are royals, who actually work for the royal family. It's quite simple, and that's what they agreed to, and they were very pleased about it because Harry didn't want it anyway. But now, in an extraordinary way of doing it, she did it on a card, delivering to her friend lots of food. But that what's really extraordinary is the Americans don't want any royal family telling them what to do at the at all. They're not
even how to make bath bombs. I'm obsessed
even
with
how but certainly not politically. They don't want. Meghan's very political, and they don't want that. And as for in the UK, they've been trying to get more friendly with William and Catherine and the King and Queen. So to do this,
when every action is part of a larger design, even the most genuine moments can feel like a performance. And for Harry, who's built his public persona on being emotionally open and genuine, the implications are huge. If Meghan's love for him was part of a larger plan, what does that mean for everything he's done since they met? Meghan and Harry's approach to parenthood has always seemed unconventional, to say the least. From the very beginning, they bucked royal tradition, opting out of the typical photo ops, the grand announcements, and the highly orchestrated public moments that usually surround royal births. They framed it as a privacy decision, but not everyone bought it. And as time has passed, the inconsistencies surrounding their children's births have only raised more questions. Take Archie's birth, for example. It all seemed normal at first, but then the birth certificate was mysteriously altered months later. Meghan's full name, Rachel Meghan Markle, was replaced with Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That's no small change. It's a full rewrite of her identity, something that raised eyebrows both inside and outside the palace.
I think that you can't actually continue to do that without any gratitude. There was no gratitude. Meghan wouldn't be known for anything if she hadn't actually married Harry and been in the royal family. But she, her wedding was £132 million, no gratitude. And the whole thing was to destroy them and to, get rid of them so they could come and present a more woke, upward market couple. But they made a big mistake.
They would argue that they were hounded out of this country. The press were very hostile. You and I are both being very hostile now. You could argue the press attention has made their life a misery. They're entitled to complain, and that actually it's affected their mental health.
No, that's nonsense. They wanted to leave.
Meghan claimed the palace made her do it, but the palace quickly denied it, adding even more fuel to the fire. Why would she change something so significant, and what was she trying to cover up? Then came baby number 2, Lilibet Diana, and the drama went nuclear. No UK hospital, no traditional royal photo op, and no official announcement from the palace. Instead, Meghan's team sent out a polished PR statement from California. But there was a problem. The timeline didn't quite add up. Internet sleuths began comparing Meghan's baby bump with photos from interviews, and the inconsistencies were glaring. The shape, the size, everything seemed to shift more than what you'd expect from a pregnancy. For a family as obsessed with protocol and tradition as the British royals, these discrepancies didn't go unnoticed. And while the palace kept its distance, the whispers behind the scenes grew louder. What were they trying to hide? Was it a cover-up? A PR play, or just a series of unfortunate missteps?
Harry is even more annoying than he is when he's with his wife.
Well, he's probably been instructed by his wife, but I'm quite surprised why. Well, I am and I'm not, actually, why she didn't come over, because it's obviously stressful.
Yeah.
He's obviously unable to cope with questions, or he has not done his research properly and he's sitting for an exam type of thing.
Yes.
Suddenly realise, help, I haven't looked up anything. And you would think that she would want to be there to support him, not come into the court, of course,
right,
but actually be there with him. But as we've seen recently, she disappears and lets him... Well, he doesn't cope, but just let him go through it on his own.
She didn't come for the coronation, where he was here for about 5 minutes. He's come here again this time, basically to...
Whatever it was, it certainly didn't sit right with the public, and those cracks in the story, they only widened with time. The latest bombshell. Buckingham Palace is reportedly stripping Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles, and this isn't just palace gossip. It's a constitutional move, backed by the 1917 letters patent, and it marks a significant shift in how the monarchy is handling the Sussexes. No more royal duties, no more official roles, no more royal perks for Harry and Meghan's children. This move, while quiet on the surface, sends a loud and clear message. The palace is drawing a hard line. No more blurred boundaries between royal status and personal brand. No more second chances. This isn't about petty family drama anymore. It's about maintaining the integrity and future of the royal institution. For Meghan, this is devastating. Her carefully crafted image as a modern royal mother, championing privacy and independence, just took a massive hit. Stripping her children of their titles isn't just a blow to her brand, it's a direct hit to her carefully curated public image. It takes away one of the key elements that helped shape the Sussex narrative, the idea that her children were part of the royal family, with all the prestige and privileges that come with it. And for Harry, behind the scenes, he's scrambling to save face. He built his public identity on breaking free from royal constraints, but this latest move by the palace forces him into a corner. He can no longer claim to be a royal rebel with the full benefits of the monarchy. It's a stark reminder that no matter how hard he tries to distance himself, the palace still holds all the cards. The stakes are higher than ever, and the fallout could be far-reaching. It's not just the titles that have been altered. There's been a curious shift in how Meghan and Harry have handled every little detail of their children's lives. From the moment Archie was born, the couple rejected royal tradition. No photos outside the hospital, no official announcement from the palace. Instead, they made the decision to announce the birth on their terms, framing it as a privacy matter. But the question remains, was it really about privacy? Or was it part of a larger strategy to distance themselves from the royal family's strict protocols? Then things took a strange turn with the birth certificate. Months after Archie's birth, a bizarre change appeared on the official record. Meghan's full name was replaced with Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. This wasn't just a typo or a minor mistake, it was a complete rewrite of her identity. Why the sudden change? Meghan later claimed the palace told her to do it, but the palace quickly denied this. The public was left to wonder what was going on behind the scenes. This little edit wasn't just a paperwork glitch, it set the rumor mill on fire. People began asking if Meghan was trying to control the narrative, rewrite her royal identity, and position herself in a more powerful light. It raised eyebrows and fueled the growing speculation that Meghan was playing a much bigger game than anyone had originally thought. Fast forward to Lilibet's birth, and the drama escalated even further. No official royal announcement, no photos, just a PR statement dropped from California. This time, the timeline didn't match up. Meghan's public appearances before and after the birth didn't quite add up with the reported due dates, and once again, internet detectives took notice. When every moment of your life is scrutinized under a microscope, those little discrepancies don't go unnoticed. In the royal family, where every detail is meticulously documented, these missteps were impossible to ignore. But the palace remained silent, letting Meghan and Harry's narrative take the lead. And while they didn't fight back in public, behind the scenes, they were taking note. They saw the inconsistencies, they saw the shifts in the story. And the cracks that began with the altered birth certificates now seem to be widening, revealing a much more complicated and perhaps less authentic story than anyone imagined. So, where does this leave Harry and Meghan now? With the palace's recent moves to strip their children of their royal titles and the ever-growing questions surrounding their relationship and actions, the foundation they've built their entire brand is starting to crack. What was once seen as a fairy tale love overcoming duty and the royal constraints now looks more like a carefully orchestrated strategy. And that shift could change everything for the Sussexes. The silence, the secrecy, the strategic moves, these all add up to one thing. The royal drama isn't over, but the story has taken a turn. Meghan's brand, built on being the misunderstood outsider, is now facing increasing scrutiny. The public's perception of her, once a champion for the voiceless, is shifting from an advocate for change to a calculated figure who's been playing a much longer game. And for Harry, the narrative that he was the prince who chose love over duty now seems more like the prince who was the second choice in a strategic play. The damage is deeper than just public perception, it's a crisis of identity. Harry's entire public persona has been built around authenticity. His openness about mental health struggles, his emotional transparency, and his commitment to being real. If this new narrative holds, it completely shatters that image. The Sussexes may have hoped their silence would protect them, but instead, it's only intensified the fire. As whispers continue to grow, so does the distance between them and the royal family. The gap between their carefully crafted image and public opinion is widening, and with it, their grip on their carefully built empire seems to be slipping. The future of the Sussex brand. It looks uncertain as the cracks continue to grow. The love story, the exit from the royal family, the bold proclamations, all are now under a magnifying glass, and what once seemed like a revolution now feels like a carefully scripted act that didn't go as planned. The question remains, Is this the end of their royal saga, or just the beginning of a much darker chapter? The royal family is moving on, and the Sussexes may have to reckon with the truth about their legacy and the cost of all the secrets they've kept. The latest blow from Buckingham Palace, the final blow to the Sussexes' royal ties. As if stripping Archie and Lilibet of their royal titles wasn't enough, now the palace has reportedly sealed the deal with legal documents, putting an official end to any hopes of them ever reclaiming the privileges they once held. It's not just a statement, it's an action, a symbolic strike that shows the monarchy is done playing games. This isn't just a petty move, it's a calculated response that strips Harry and Meghan of their last remaining royal connections. The palace isn't just saying, "You're not one of us anymore." They're making it official, cutting the cord in the most formal way possible, and sending a clear message to the public. The Sussexes may have stepped away from royal duties, but they won't get to cherry-pick what they keep from the monarchy. No more royal perks, no more titles, their royal status is being stripped away piece by piece. And while Meghan and Harry have built a life in California, turning their departure from royal life into a global brand, this is where the cracks in their carefully constructed image begin to show. The narrative that they were rebelling against, royal constraints, choosing independence over duty, suddenly becomes much harder to defend when they are effectively cut off from the very thing they sought to escape. This legal strike from the palace makes it clear the royals aren't backing down. They've let the Sussexes play their part on the world stage, but the show is over. And, for Harry and Meghan, it's more than just losing royal status. It's the loss of the core of their identity. What's left when the royal connection is gone? When the titles are stripped and the media circus dies down, who are the Sussexes without the monarchy to define them? It's a moment of reckoning, not just for Meghan and Harry, but for the world that has watched them with fascination, sympathy, and sometimes skepticism. The royal saga that has gripped headlines for years is now taking its final turn, and the legacy of the Sussexes, well, it's never been more uncertain. So, what's the real story behind Harry and Meghan's departure from the royal family? The love story we were sold? Or was it always part of a larger, more calculated plan? The silence, the secrecy, and now the royal family's cold, official actions. Everything points to a much more complicated narrative than the one we've been fed. If the latest claims are true, it's not just the Sussexes' image that's crumbling, it's the foundation of the entire fairy tale. The public's trust in their authenticity is wavering, and once that belief is gone, it's hard to rebuild. Harry and Meghan may have thought they were breaking free, but with each revelation, it's becoming clear that the chains of their royal past might be harder to escape than they ever imagined. What comes next for the Sussexes? Can they survive the loss of their royal ties, or will the cracks in their carefully constructed world become too much to fix? One thing's for sure, the royal saga is far from over, and we're all still waiting to see how the final act unfolds.